from the Health and Medical Science School. It's great to be with you this morning. We are both situated in the sunny Adelaide. We're having great weather this morning. Not sure if it's the same in Canada. Today we'll be talking to you about the University of Adelaide and some of the health and medical science programs. And to kickstart, I'd like to first talk to you about a little bit of what the University of Adelaide is like, how the life in Adelaide looks like, and what to expect when you're living in Adelaide and what to expect when you are studying with us. So the University of Adelaide is part of the Group of 8, and the Group of 8 is the most high-ranking universities in Australia. We are the third oldest university in Australia. We're also ranked in the top 1% in the world. We're also associated with 5 Nobel Prize winners as well as 110 Rhodes Scholars. And that gives you an impression about what quality of education you'd be expecting when you're studying at the University of Adelaide. It's also a world-class research institute. 80% of our research is rated above world standard, and that means you also have a very high quality of research, education, and tutoring during your study at the University of Adelaide. You'll be studying with the best and also taught by the best. Some facts about the University of Adelaide. A lot of the students that I come across ask me about what kind of students are we going to be working with, what kind of nationalities or countries are we going to come across when we're studying at the University of Adelaide. On campus, we have students from over 100 countries that represent different cultures and populations. We have 3 main campuses. One is the North Campus, where the Health and Medical Science School is situated. The other 2 campuses are the Wake Campus and the Roseworthy Campus. The Wake Campus is 20 minutes drive from the North Terrace main campus, and the Roseworthy Campus is a 1-hour drive. Wake is more tailored towards the wine and the viticulture programs. The Roseworthy Campus is more of the animal the animal-based programs that works with animals and the veterinary programs. North Terrace is where we have our main schools, like the Health and Medical Science, as well as others like the law and the business and the arts and the engineering as well. We have 4,000 staff members, again, from a lot of different nationalities. We currently have on campus 27,000 students, and 27% of which are international students. Life in Adelaide is a great life, and I'm not telling you that because I live in Adelaide. Actually, I'm a migrant as well. I've been here for 4 years, and I chose Adelaide because I found it a great place for myself and my family to start a life in Australia. It's very safe, very secure from a livability perspective. And an economic perspective, it's very affordable compared to other states, especially the Eastern Seaboard states. We have 1.3 million people living in Adelaide, or in South Australia in general. It's one of the 10 most livable cities in the world. You'll find cultural diversity. You'll find restaurants and entertainment facilities that would cater to different cultures and nationalities. Also, you'll find that the people in Adelaide are very friendly. Walking on the street, people would talk to you or say hi to you, which you might not find in other states or other parts of the world. You never feel that you're not at home because of the friendliness of the environment around you, whether on campus or outside of the campus as well. We'll share with you a quick video about the life in Adelaide and how it looks like, what's the expectation, how far the campus is from the different tourism places and the CBD. The CBD is also 2 minutes from our North Terrace campus. You just have to cross the road and you'll find everything really close to you, the shopping, the restaurants, the pubs, and also the accommodation, which is right across from where our North Campus is.
I'm not sure if that's going to play.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's working, but maybe we can share a link with the video with you afterwards. Now I'll stop talking and blabbering, and I'll leave the stage to my very good colleague and friend Nicole to talk to you about Health and Medical Science School. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you all for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Nancy. Hi, everyone. It's fantastic that you could join us, well, this evening in Canada and this morning in Australia. So today I really wanted to talk to you specifically about our medicine and dentistry programs. There have been a few changes, so I'd just like to run through those things with you today. But firstly, I would like to show you a little bit about the Faculty of Health and Medical Sciences specifically. So the faculty is ranked #1 in South Australia for life sciences, medicine, nursing, psychology and dentistry, along with #1 in Australia for our health and medical sciences general research. And Lord Howard Florey and Dr. J. Robin Warren are among our notable alumni. You may recognise Lord Howard Florey in his role in the development of penicillin. So we have some fantastic people that have already been at the university but have done fantastic things worldwide with their research as well. So we're really, really proud of those people, and we hope that one day we'll have some others join them as well. I wanted to show you a little bit about our recent alumni success. So these are some, maybe we could say, younger people who have graduated more recently. So Dr. Claudia Paul is one of our Indigenous Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students, and she's now taken a Masters of International Health at Oxford University. So she's one of our Rhodes Scholars. Ethan Dutcher is one of our 6th-year medical students, and he won the Gates Cambridge Scholarship, which is awarded at over $250,000. He's using his research around neuroscience in medicine and doing absolutely fantastic things. So I can't wait to see where both of these people take us in the future. I think we're in really good hands. Okay, so the Faculty of Health and Medical, as you can see from our undergraduate degree rankings, a degree from the Health and Medical Sciences faculty really means that you're getting a world-class education, which is ranked really highly in the state and Australia, but also more importantly, the world as well. Okay, so now I'd really like to share with you some of our facilities that you'll be utilising throughout your study in health. So the Adelaide Health Simulation is the most technologically advanced simulation facility in Australasia, and it's the only simulation facility accredited with the Society for Simulation in Healthcare. And we're really proud of this particular facility. And this is where most of our medicine, nursing and dentistry students do a lot of their study. So it's absolutely brilliant building. We're really, really lucky to have it. So the health simulation was designed to accommodate the needs, as I mentioned, of medical, nursing and our other health sciences students. And at the top of the building is our public dental hospital for South Australia. So not only are you learning in this amazing building in simulation, but you're also putting it into practice in our public dental hospital. So the Dental Simulation Clinic, which is open on our North Terrace campus that Nancy mentioned earlier, that was opened in 2013, and this is where our students will acquire and develop skills through dental surgery and our oral health degrees as well. The clinic has 90 individual simulators, each equipped with their own mannequin, dental equipment, PC and monitor. Also in this facility is the Raylas Laboratories, which are located within the Adelaide Medical School, which is housed in this particular building. This particular laboratory has both surgical skills and anatomy areas, and they've been designed for a wide range of uses for both undergraduate and postgraduate teaching in anatomy, right through to advanced surgical training, clinical skills and research. Importantly, linked to the Adelaide Medical School and the Raylas Laboratories is our body donation program. So the University of Adelaide Medical School operates a central mortuary facility on behalf of the 3 universities in South Australia, and they accept all bodies that are donated to science. So this is a fantastic opportunity for our students to be able to dissect the human body, which is a real privilege, and it's not available in many parts of the world. So our students believe that this is a really, really important part of their learning. Okay, so our Adelaide Health and Medical Sciences building, or better known as AHMS, you may hear us call it that, is our flagship teaching and research facility. And it's home to the Adelaide Medical School, the Adelaide Dental School, the Adelaide Nursing School, the School of Public Health, and our Robinson Research Institute. So it's the building situated in the heart of our really large health and biomedical precinct. And it's alongside our Royal Adelaide Hospital and also our South Australian Health and Medical Research Institute. That's really important because not only does it house 1,700 of our students and 600 of our researchers, but they also work through the Dental Hospital, the Research Institute, and the Dental Hospital, sorry, the Royal Adelaide Hospital, the Dental Hospital, and the Research Institute as well. So some fantastic facilities for our students to have access to as standard in their training. Okay, so Adelaide Health Simulation, which I've mentioned is in the AHMS. This actually reflects a clinical environment where students are required to assess, troubleshoot, propose, and perform correct treatment and procedures on a patient. Some of these patients include high technology mannequins, which you can see laying there on those trays. Or we also hire actors that we call standardised patients. So the standardised patients will play the role of a patient or a relative who's worried about their family member in hospital. So this really helps the students to learn how to treat and deal with patients when they're diagnosing them, because they've got the opportunity to make mistakes on these pretend people and observe their outcomes that they do. Depending on what actions they perform, they can see what outcomes actually happen, and then they've got the opportunity without causing harm to obviously fix that or correct their mistakes if they've made them. So the human simulators actually produce lung sounds, heart sounds, and bowel sounds, and they have anatomically correct pulses. And they also respond to medical and pharmacological interventions. We do have a mannequin that also gives birth as well. I'm hoping to show you a video next, which shows you our simulation, but I'm not sure that will work at this point. So we'll definitely play that afterwards, as Nancy mentioned. We'll send that through and you can see that at a later date. We'll play that afterwards so that we're not wasting time. Okay, so now I'd like to talk to you a little bit about dentistry, and particularly the Bachelor of Dental Surgery. Our students in the Bachelor of Dental Surgery will actually do a lot of their work in the simulation clinic that I mentioned earlier. So this contains virtual reality haptic simulators, which uses technology to provide immediate tactile feedback while they're performing different tasks. And the students also have access to the latest audiovisual equipment as well. So you can see there that there's 90 of these simulators, or heads as we call them, and individual stations where all of the learning is streamed to their individual monitors, and then they can actually do it themselves. So it's a really important way of being able to watch and learn and do, and that's a fantastic way for our students to learn. This clinic is functioning as a real dentistry clinic would, so all of the equipment is up to date. Everything is functioning as a normal dental clinic would be. It also encompasses 2 dental surgeries and a supporting clinical education unit. It has a plaster laboratory, radiology and sterilisation areas, and virtual reality dental simulators, as well as CAD/CAM scanning technology. So our students, if we need to make a crown, for instance, for a patient, they can actually do it on site so that it's immediate for their learning, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so the Bachelor of Dental Surgery is the only professional degree in South Australia, and the clinical experience that we've talked about through simulation happens in the first year. They will learn in the teaching hospital in the AHMS building as well. More importantly, they'll tackle those real life scenarios in teams. So you're working as a team as you would be as a dentist right from the start. So our degree is 5 years full-time in duration, and we only have the one intake, which would be in February next year. And the selection rank you're looking at is an international ATAR of 90 or above, or if you're doing the IB score, that's a 34. You must be able to have an IELTS of 7, and that's a 7 in all bands and a 7 overall, and those results must come from the one test sitting. We do have some prerequisite subjects there that you'd need to be studying throughout your year 12, so your final years of high school, or if you've done another degree through that degree, we have some equivalent subjects that you can meet as well. One of the things that the students really enjoy through the Bachelor of Dental Surgery is the community outreach program. It's called Common Ground, and it provides our dental and oral health students the opportunity to give back to the community by offering health services for people who have difficulty accessing conventional healthcare. It's a free service where those people can come and have their oral health attended to, but importantly for our students, it actually provides them with an additional 1,040 clinical hours every year. So they're rostered through these particular clinics. It's under the guidance of private dentists and our own staff who are all practicing, and they volunteer their time for these clinics and for our students. So this is something that our students absolutely find so valuable. They really, really enjoy it. Okay, so let's look at what's involved. In year 1, there's a lot of small group discovery. So that's teamwork, that's problem solving, that's case-based learning, where you're looking as a group at the initial phases of patient care. And you're essentially trying to problem solve what's wrong with this particular patient and discuss how you would potentially treat them. It moves on in year 2. And you focus a little bit more on restoring and maintaining, and you're starting to look at risk assessment, managing healthy patients that have minor conditions. And then that builds in years 3 and 4 to be looking at more comprehensive treatment and dental disorders and human diseases. So what affects different populations? It's a bit more broad. And then in year 5, this is our clinical placements year. So for the majority of the year, you are out in our dental community and you're actually working on patients throughout those clinics. So that's more of the clinical focus for that whole year, setting you up for after you graduate. So our Bachelor of Dental Surgery qualification is recognised by the Dental Accreditation of Canada. And you just need to do some further exams just to prove your clinical competency, but it's not an onerous process. Okay, so I'll just move past the next slide with a video. I just wanted to show you one of our students in action, but we'll show you that afterwards. So let's walk you through the application process for our international applicants now. So there's prerequisite subjects that I mentioned earlier and the academic score of 90, international ATAR of 90 or a score of 34 for the IB. The English language requirements are at a 7, as I mentioned. So one important change to this particular process, we used to use the personal qualities assessment test and as part of our process, but that's no longer. So for those who have been considering dentistry for a while, just make sure that you're aware of this change. Instead of the personal qualities assessment test, we will be using the UCAT ANZ. So essentially it's a very similar entrance test to the PQA, but you must do the UCAT ANZ version if you're wanting to apply to universities in Australia or New Zealand. Step 5 is the online application, and you will do that through our international portal on our website. And if you're an international student who is already studying in Australia, you still need to submit the application this way. At this point, you're required to enter your UCAT identification number. That allows us then to get access to those results of those tests. So applications close for the Bachelor of Dental Surgery on Tuesday the 30th of June. And even if you're still studying, if you're in high school, you still need to apply by that date because we don't accept late applications. Now, if you're wanting to apply, you can do that through, obviously, KOM, and they will manage the application process for you. So you can submit it through KOM, but they will do it by Tuesday, the 30th of June for you. So they can step you through that process. So step 6 is actually sitting the UCAT, and that is held throughout July. Now, you're able to select a particular test centre that you'd like to sit the UCAT through, and that's on various dates throughout July. I've got a little bit more information where you can find those details out in a moment as well. So step 7 is the interview eligibility outcome, and that's based on your performance in the UK ANZ, and each of the sections have equal weight. Just note that we won't be using section 5 of the UK ANZ, only sections 1 to 4. You still need to complete section 5 because other universities may use it, but we will only be using sections 1 to 4. Then on Thursday, the 10th of September, you'll receive an email, as will your agent if you're going through KOM. They'll receive an email which will contain important information for you to log on to our admission system to check your eligibility and see if you've been offered an interview. At that point, if you have, then you're able to go and book your interview from us between a selected date period. If you're not successful at that point, then that's when we'd encourage you to activate your backup plans. So step 8 is the interview. So we'll be offering interviews to approximately 170 international applicants to the Bachelor of Dental Surgery. There's one round of interviews which are conducted in late September and early October. So the interviews will focus on your knowledge and understanding of the profession, your motivation to become a dentist, and your compatibility and understanding of the degree at the University of Adelaide, and also, of course, your interpersonal and communication skills. We often get asked how you would prepare for an interview, and it's really important that you try and have some discussions with dentists or dental professionals, dental academics, dental specialists, and it's really important that you try and get some work experience so that you actually have a really realistic view of what a dentist actually does. I had someone once who was really tall and said, I noticed that they're bending over all day. They're working in a small space in someone's mouth. So as a really tall person, I need to see whether that's actually appropriate for me. So it's those sorts of things that you can see exactly what a dentist does, but making sure that dentistry is right for you. Step 9 is the offers, and the University of Adelaide's International Admission Service will make offers from late October to early February. And that can be right up until week 4 into term. So please don't be alarmed if you think you've missed out. We can still be making offers sort of as term starts, as people make a decision about their particular offer. I'd like to mention that we have 36 international places for 2021 entry. Okay, so I know that's a lot of information to take in, but don't worry, we have comprehensive admissions guides where you'll be able to find all of the things that I've just talked about. And we do have 2 versions. So one version is for domestic applicants and the other is for international applicants. So just make sure that you're referring to the right version for you, okay? And that will outline all the eligibility, the key dates I've mentioned, and all of the criteria. Okay, so let's move on to medicine now. We have a Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery degree that's on offer at the University of Adelaide. I'm just going to move because the sun's in my face there, which is very nice, but you probably can't see me very well. So I wanted to mention to you that you may have been aware that the University of Adelaide was going to have a Bachelor of Medical Studies and Doctor of Medicine in 2021. Due to COVID-19, obviously we're all aware of the pandemic that's happening, we've decided to delay the commencement of that degree until 2022. So if you're applying for 2021, you would be applying for our Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery degree. And as you can see, we have a very satisfied students who have been through our degree, and you can see that our full-time employment rate is fantastic as well. So medicine is something where there is plenty of work, lots of different varieties, and I don't see medicine slowing down anytime soon. So I think, those interested in medicine are looking at a really good career option. So let's run through now what the Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery entails. So it's a 6-year full-time degree and one intake in February. Much like dental surgery, the selection rank is, so international ATAR is 90 or an IB score of 34, and the IELTS must be at a 7. So the prerequisite subjects are 1 from chemistry, mathematics, or biology. So this degree, you will be having clinical simulation that we've mentioned earlier from the first year. So that happens very early on in the program. We want you to be immersed in that type of learning really early on. So our emphasis is really on practical and hands-on experience, both in that simulation environment and then down the track in the real-world clinical practice. Okay, so let's look at what's involved. So in years 1 to 3, you start to be introduced to the clinical scenarios, which is really the basis of learning the scientific foundation of medicine. Students will work in small groups, often with the surrogate patients that we mentioned before, so the mannequins or the standardized patients. And they're really enhancing at that point their clinical and their professional skills. So they're learning from day one how to be a doctor. In year 3, the clinical training is conducted primarily in the public teaching hospitals, and students then start to put all of that into place. So all of their clinical training in those early years into place throughout their placement model in years 4 to 6. So that can include public teaching hospitals or community settings. It can include things like mental health areas, different wards in hospitals. So this is where you'll start to do, say, pediatrics or oncology or emergency medicine. That all starts to take place as you've developed those basic skills in the early years. So in year 5, some students take their year 5 in a rural setting. Some students stay for a whole year and others just do a 9-week placement, but everybody will experience medicine from a rural location. And our Adelaide Rural Clinical School is actually responsible for all of that teaching, and I'll talk about them in a little bit more detail shortly. So it's important to note in year 6, this is our focus on clinical practice and professional development. So it's your final year of study. All of your exams have finished. So essentially you're on clinical placement for 1 whole year. You don't get paid for that final year of the program. You're still a student. But what it means is that you're really making that transition from student to junior doctor. And interestingly, with all of the COVID issues at the moment, our year 6 medical students are actually helping in the hospitals with COVID-19 patients. So we don't shy away from the fact that you're almost ready to be a doctor and you're just honing those professional skills and your professional practice. So a really important year for you. This particular year, the Medical Board of Australia runs a preparedness for internship survey, and the University of Adelaide's #1 in Australia for preparing our medical graduates for practice. So that final year on clinical placement is really, really important for our students. So we're really proud of that. So the internship, we often get asked about internships, and that happens the year after you've graduated. It's not run by the university, but it's run by our affiliates. And if you are interested in finding out more about the internships as an international student, if you log on to the South Australian Health Careers website, that actually has an internship sort of package that you can have a look at what that means for you as an international student. Okay, so I wanted to focus a little bit more now on our clinical placements. So as a student in the Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, you'll do a minimum of 110 weeks of clinical placements over the 6 years. So remember that I said we're very hands-on, it's very clinically focused. This is where you will learn above what you need to in terms of the clinical placement allowances. So those clinical placements out in the community happen in the later years of the program, as I mentioned, and this is where you'll start to include specialist areas, like I mentioned. The rural placements happen through our Adelaide Rural Clinical School, and you can experience those placements in areas such as the Barossa Valley, Broken Hill, Port Augusta, Port Lincoln. We have teachers who actually live in those communities, and you'll work with the community hospitals there. And our students really enjoy the rural setting because you're sometimes the only doctor in that particular area, obviously, with the qualified clinician. So you do get to see a really broad range and it's a little bit different to what you would experience in the city. So it's a fantastic way to look at medicine from a different perspective as well. Okay, let's run you through now the international entry overview. So it is quite similar to dentistry, so I won't spend a huge amount of time on this, but there's the prerequisite subjects that we've mentioned, the academic score and the English language level of 7. Again, students, applicants to the Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery will be required to register for the UCAT, and that is open now. It does close quite soon. The registration for UCAT closes quite soon. So please make sure that if you are considering applying for medicine or dentistry, that you jump online and register for the UCAT firstly, and then that forms part of your other application to the university as well. So, but KOM will be able to step you through that as well. Step 6, you actually sit the UCAT in July at the test centre that you've selected in your registration. And then on Thursday, the 10th of September, is when we will get notification to you and your agent of your interview eligibility outcome. So again, you'll be able to select an interview if you're eligible from a selection of times within the defined interview period. And it's on a first come, first served basis. So there is a spot for everybody, but don't leave it too late because you may not get the particular spot that you're after. We, as yet, are assuming that our interviews will be as they normally are, and they'll be outlined in our admissions guides. We will certainly keep your agents up to date if any changes happen due to the COVID-19 restrictions. So as we're aware, we're all sort of working in this unknown space at the moment. So normally you're able to fly to Australia or, have them via video conferencing. We may not be able to have them in Australia, so watch this space around that. But certainly we would be doing the interviews, from Canada like we would normally do as well. So don't worry too much. We'll certainly let you know, and we'll be making sure that the experience is as it normally is. So approximately 160 international applicants will be invited to an interview for medicine, and that will happen in late September, early October, so the one round of interviews. Again, the offers will be made by the Adelaide University's admissions services, and that will be from late October through to February, and we have 34 international places available for our medicine program. So make sure that you refer to our detailed admissions guides. So we have 2 versions again, one for domestic applicants and one for international applicants. So make sure you're referring to the right version so that you're aware. Okay, I just wanted to briefly show you a little bit about our student experience, because this is really important, because you would be moving to Australia, so you need to make sure that you're immersing yourself in university life. We have a lot of student support, and I'd really encourage you to reach out as soon as you can, so that you can really make sure that you hit the ground running and that you are feeling confident in yourself to make the most of your experience. So we have a peer mentoring program at the Faculty of Health and Medical Sciences specifically, just available for our health students. This is run by peer mentors who have been in your shoes. They know what it's like to be a new student. They know what it's like to have moved countries. They're really high-performing students, and they're really eager to share insider information to you about university life. You can meet face-to-face, online, or at events. And so we really encourage you to make sure that you access this to make sure that you're receiving ongoing peer support. We do have a full range of scholarships at the university, so I'd encourage you to log on to the university's website to see what's available to you as an international student. If it's available to you, then make sure that you apply. Throughout all of our degrees, we encourage students to look into opportunities to study overseas throughout the time at university, because it really helps to diversify their study and just to look at things from a global perspective. So make sure you check out the information on our Study Overseas website to find out what those options are for you. Importantly, we'd really love you to keep connected to us throughout the rest of this year. Certainly, if you have any questions, you can, log on to our health page. You can log on to our Facebook page. You can log on to YouTube. We have lots of videos. If you do have any questions, then you're more than welcome to go through your agent to ask them. If they don't know the answers, they're very well connected to both Nancy and myself, and we'd be able to help answer the questions. We do have a virtual mini health open day coming up at the beginning of June. And we'll send information through to Sue and the team. And that way you'll be able to log on and hear a little bit more information about the university as well, but also hear from some of our current students that are studying in both the medicine and dentistry programs. So we'll send those links through to Sue and the team. And then you'll be able to join us again in early June to hear a little bit more information. So that's it from me. I'll just move into some slides. I'm not sure if Nancy's going to do these or Sue, but this is a little bit of information about KOM.
I think I'll give quickly the overview about KOM and how they can support you through the process. So KOM have been our agent for many, many years, and we really rely on their support, the support they provide to our students on the ground in North America mainly. So what they can support you with is that they can look at your degrees, they can look at the equivalency, whether you would be eligible for the different programs or not. They can help you with collecting your documentation, putting in your application. They go through all the inquiries you have with me and with admissions so that they can give you the best environment possible and the best service possible. They also go through the student health care with you, as well as the visa applications, the housing, the accommodation, and also anything that has to do with your life in South Australia. So if you want to get in touch with them, please go through their website or also the emails that Sue has just put through the link. Otherwise, me and Nicole and also Sue are happy to answer any questions you may have. I might also try to put in that video to make sure that you are able to look at it maybe through this session.
So I've just noticed we have a question there about the Bachelor of Dental Surgery proceeding for 2021, and if so, how will travel restrictions affect the student visa? So at the moment, obviously there's no international travel, and we are assuming that will be lifted, down the track as things improve. But we really don't know. Nobody knows. The world doesn't know yet how that's going to play out. So yes, we are absolutely still proceeding as normal, and we will have to look at what the travel restrictions are at the moment. But just to let you know that some of our students have been able to study remotely, but we really don't know what that's going to look like next year. We really are guided by what the government restrictions are. So we just have to see how that plays out for the rest of this year. But, fingers crossed, we're confident that things are going to improve for next year, and the travel restrictions will be lifted. But yeah, we don't have a definite answer on that one at the moment.
Located in the heart of one of the world's most livable cities and ranked in the top 1% of universities worldwide, the University of Adelaide offers the rare combination of elite academic performance and an enviable lifestyle. Home to 25,000 students and 3,600 staff from around the globe, our city campus has an unrivalled location, with green open parklands and botanical gardens on one side and a central business district on the other. Established in 1874, we are Australia's third oldest university. Whilst our history is rich with accomplishment, our focus today remains firmly on making history rather than resting on it. University of Adelaide graduates are highly regarded for their global perspective. Our student body is made up of 30% international students, and 1 in 3 of all students at the university will study overseas as part of their degree. We educate students across 5 faculties: engineering, computer and mathematical sciences, health and medical sciences, the arts, sciences and professions, which encompasses the fields of law, business and architecture. Our 1,700 research academics and 2,300 research students work to find innovative solutions to world problems and industry challenges. Our key areas of research focus are in the fields of agriculture, food and wine, defence and security, medtech and health, environment and sustainability, mining and energy, and society and the economy. 35 of our research fields have been rated 5 out of 5 by Excellence in Research Australia. And the university is ranked #1 in Australia for our volume of university industry research agreements. We are the University of Adelaide.
So as you've seen, the campus that's featured on that video is the main North Terrace campus, which is the campus that hopefully when you apply with us, you are going to be situated at. Also, right across from that campus for Alicia, who's asking about the accommodation, you will find the two main accommodation partners that we have, which is the Village and Urbanist. Both of them have different accommodation packages that would suit different needs, whether you want to be having an accommodation on your own, or you would like to share an accommodation with a few other students. So they have several packages that you can go through. Also, KOM can help you with looking at the different accommodation packages that you'd be interested in or would be catered towards your need. I think we have a question regarding the cost per year for the medical program, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nicole, it's around 75,000 Australian dollars per year, and that's only the fees. It doesn't include accommodation or any other living costs.
That's right, yes. I'll put a link now to the fees area if you like. I'll put a link up there now.
Also, the University of Adelaide website is very inclusive, and most of the time you'll find all the questions and answers you might have on mind on that website through the degree finder. So if you put in through degree finder the degree or the program you're looking for, even a keyword, it's going to come up with all the information you need. And also you'd be able to talk to KOM about your questions or talk to us directly through start@adelaide.edu.au, and we will be able to answer all the questions you may have about our degrees or also about life in Adelaide.
So I might just mention, Alicia asked a question before about the accommodation, particularly for first year female students, and I have put a link there to accommodation. But one of the things that we would suggest is our university managed accommodation. So it's called the Village. It's very close to the campus, and it's very close to things like our central markets. So, you know, food's not an issue, those sorts of things. That's managed by the university, and students can have their own rooms or they can have shared rooms, but they would only be sharing with another female student or other female students. We don't have mixes. That's got university staff on campus 24/7. And people have to swipe in and swipe out. So it's a very safe way to live, you know, on your own in a new country. So that's probably what I would recommend first for any students, really, is the university managed accommodation. For those who maybe are a little bit more, you know, sort of experienced or have lived on their own before, there are other options such as our residential colleges. Or there's also, as Nancy mentioned, independent living through other areas within that are associated with the university. But in response to Alicia's question, I'd probably suggest the Village to have a look at.
If we don't have any other questions, we'd like to thank you again for joining us to this great webinar this morning in Australia and in the evening in Canada. Thank you so much. And if you have any further questions or you're not sure about the equivalency, because I know that can be confusing with the different curriculums from one state to another, and also the equivalence to our ATAR, please feel free to get in touch with us and we would be happy to resolve the issue for you. See ya.
Lovely to meet everybody. Take care. Stay safe. We hope to see you in the years to come.